world of work for the future, and multiple trends are going to trending in this 2025 and beyond, where your artificial intelligence, your higher skill based hiring, and many others issues, how you can deal with and how properly you can get the right track with these trends, and you can also having an excellency of aligning these trends within your organization need. So for that, we have been invited Sakshi Pal, who is the head of HR from the TechWave, one of the IT organization, to discuss on the top 5 HR trends for 2025 and beyond, how that is going to help the organization and the world of HR work to the future, and what would be the extent of these HR for the future to expertise your journey as an HR professional. Sakshi Pal is an accomplished HR professional with 15 years of rich experience in managing the HR transition during merger acquisition, ensuring effective team integration. She has been led the digital transformation initiative at the TechWave, where she has been spent a span of 1 decade with the organization, and she is also one of the awardee for FTCCI Best HR Practices. She is always looking forward to promote the personal growth and align the organizational goals to bring the right resources to the organization and bringing them to getting the organizational goal done.
Yeah, good afternoon, very good afternoon, Sakshi Pal.
Am I to be a detailed discussion about your journey, your practices, so that our reader, our viewer, they can get the real insight about the, especially we are talking in this discussion about the trends into the different dimensions of the HR function. Before going to this discussion, and I would like to just understand about your career graph flow, everything, so that we can go the smooth flow within the discussion today.
So I'm working with TechWave since 2014. TechWave is a global digital transformation and engineering partner that helps business solve real world challenges using technology. So when I specifically talk about TechWave, we are headquartered in Houston, Texas, with a strong presence across North America, Europe, Asia Pacific, and India. TechWave operates with a client first approach, focusing on business outcomes rather than focusing on technology adoption. So it's a mix of both. And specific to India, we have our main GDC, which is Global Development Center in Hyderabad, and we have close to 2,500 associates supporting from Hyderabad, and across the regions we have 3,500 employees. Yeah, so I started. Yeah, so I started my career in 2010 and associated with TechWave since last 1 decade. So majority of my experience talks and relates to HR practices in TechWave. So I have over 15 years of experience in designing and executing transformative people strategies that actually drive organizational success, right? So adept in aligning global and regional business objectives with talent initiatives, fostering a culture of diversity and inclusion, and have worked a lot from an AVP perspective. So in TechWay, we have Spark, which we call it as our employee value proposition, right? So this framework has actually been transcends across geographical boundaries, fostering a collaborative and inclusive workspace. And I'm a firm believer in a people's first leadership, establishing a flat, non-hierarchical organization, promoting transparency, responsive, trust, and empowerment. So in short, the role that I play is recognized for driving change, elevating employee performance, fostering a culture of innovation that has led to a couple of mergers and acquisition that we focus on. So yeah, a little bit about me.
It is not little bit, even though you have explained everything, and what really the great leader, and they have been experienced, they have been implemented, and they have to get the right result within their strategies for the organization and leading them to the succeed as in the people business. So before that, to one question, that stuck in my mind. You say that you just initiated the strategy of the people first HR in your organization. However, I have worked for the 15 to 18 years in HR domain, and then now the 5 years around with this business or in the dealing especially with people manager heading it as and the promoter has in heading it as and the magazine especially the chief editor. So there I saw when we saw the people first HR. However, we our initiative that to collaborating, aligning with the strategy, but sometimes we face the challenges about the collaborating with the leader, stakeholder, and especially the GP. We have to work accordingly. But now I see that because you are within with a decade, you have been spent this tech way. So I think you have been experienced a lot of things. But how these challenges you have been get sorted in your experience? I must say that you really have been implemented a great strategy within your organization. So that may be helpful for the HR professional who are going to read, who are going to watch, and who are also going to the print version or edition of this discussion. So how you tackle these issues when the senior management are there? You have to go for the people first strategy, but there are businesses and other perspective dealing the business with people perspective. That is challenges for the HR leaders. Shared top level of around number of top level HR that I have been interviewed so far. So in that this type of question I always ask, but not getting. But I thought that maybe you just told it that the people first strategy. Difficulty are there because the corporate goal, the business goal, they are different. So CEO have to focus on those areas. But as an HR function, you are the as a services, the function in the organization. You have to collaborate with the people with the mindset of the human touch. You have to initiate within your strategy. So how you deal with that?
See, okay, so I'll start. See, when I joined this company in 2014, right, we were not even 100 in numbers. And now we are 3,500 across the globe. So I have been a part of this journey since inception, you can say that, right? And when we start building people, the technologies, or the environment around us, and as we grow, one of the examples, like as part of my merger and acquisition that I was part of, there were a lot of things going on in parallel. Okay, this particular segment of digital is going to be a part of TechWave now. This is what is happening from a technology adoption perspective. This is what is happening from an formalities perspective. But what matters to us most was its people, right? When any of the acquisition happen, people plays an important role and their HR fits in. We talk about processes, policies, that is one segment of it. But the other part of it, when you are having one-on-one connect with all the individuals, when you are giving them that comfort, that you are going to be a family of TechWave going forward. So I think those kind of comfort makes employee happy. And when we specifically talk about people culture, right? So see, you might have heard about this saying, which talks about, culture eats strategies as a breakfast.
Yeah.
So what ultimately remains is it's people. If your people are happy, your people are satisfied, your people are engaged in an organization, and they felt that they have there is somebody to listen, they are being heard, so their productivity gets increased. And obviously HR plays a balancing role between the management and associate. At times we really need to be firm at certain decisions, but the way we approach makes a difference. For example, if we are making a change in the leave policy, okay, so we are taking into consideration all the business leaders, we are explaining, we are talking about this, and then we are delegating it to the next level. So that is how it is. If we have proper communication, transparency, then things will automatically fall in place. So that's the reason why I spoke about people's first. See, any organization will have that as an asset where we really need to work together. Technology adoption, people are the one who is going to adopt, deliver productivity for us. So that is how it is. And we have created an organization where any ideas are welcomed, any associate can go for certification irrespective of the hierarchy or the band that we may have in the organization, right? So that's the flexibility that we are also providing it to them. So for us, we will maintain the balance between the management and obviously the associate, and we will definitely have that where people are being heard. So, just to give you an example, we just celebrated our 20th year of TechWave in last December. And the theme of the event talks about people who built us. So that is even how organizations are also perceiving its associates. So it goes hand in hand from both the angles.
Yeah, rightly you said, as you started the journey when there was less than 100 number of employees,
Right.
now you have the 3,000 workforce globally. So it is a fantastic journey, really, that your initiative, especially to the people first practices, or that is very innovative, and especially to me, really getting the results from. So
Yeah.
when we talk about now, we are into the 2025, and in the beginning of, however, 1 month already has been passed. So when we are talking about the in the tech industry, especially, or the other industries, there are
Mhm.
now the AI is also going to change the
Yeah.
workforce or the HR strategies too. So in
Uh-huh.
that case, as we are also discussing with all throughout this today's discussion, the different perspective or trends which are going to shape really the HR perspective for the future. So in
Mhm.
that case, and some point we have already been shared with you. So now
Yeah.
come to the first one, as skill is the prime. When we talk about the talent, when we talk about the workforce, because without people or your resources, considering of the business, it can be none of the business, if I say it. So in
Yeah.
that case, that how is the skill based hiring
Mhm.
in your organization, your strategy, that transforming the recruitment strategies in the tech industry, especially I talk about the tech wave, as your experience since a
Right.
decade you have been spent with this organization.
Yeah. So, it's not only within the organization, but if you see the industry also, I mean, everybody is switching towards skill-based hiring nowadays, especially when we have to talk about tech waves. So, skill-based hiring has shifted our recruitment focus from traditional degrees to actual competencies, because competencies are the real thing that is now pitching into the market, right? And this approach allows us to tap into a broader talent pool also, where we can identify candidates with practical expertise in emerging technologies, for example, Golang, AI/ML, and cloud platforms. So it actually helped us reduce time to hire, improved quality of candidates, and actually align talent acquisition more closely with the client and project need. That plays an important role, right? So I'll give you an example. For example, at TechWave, right? We have successfully implemented skill-based hiring for cloud computing and AI roles, allowing us to bring in more candidates. And when these candidates are coming, they're coming with relevant certifications, the practical experience that they have, rather than just having an academic qualification or degree. So in fact, these kind of things has helped us cutting down the hiring time cost by 30% and ensured a workforce that is more adaptable to business needs. See, this we are talking specifically in terms of hiring, right? But what about the existing people that we already have in the organization? That also matters,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, because things are changing, they also need to be at par with the changing market spectrum. So we provide all the essential needs they need for learning and development programs, how they are going to scale up and compete in the market. So if we are building that internal pool also, right? Again, the hiring cost will come down for sure, right? So that is
Yeah.
how it is. And for me, it's like, in fact, in one of our previous discussion, we were talking about the future of hiring. Okay, the future of
Mhm.
hiring, isn't it about from where you have studied, right? It is all about what you can do and whether you are ready to learn fast. So that is how it is. When you hire a skill, then you are investing in potential, not just the past experiences. So yeah, I mean, that is how we are doing it at TechWave.
Yeah, fantastic. That your strategy really align with the organization goal and really drive the result. So one point I want to ask it here as when we compare or the metrics we utilize for the success of any initiative of HR, as part of that you are utilizing the transformating AI tools and other tool technology you are using. So as part of how you are measuring the success of the skill based recruitment, like then there are some turnaround time, there are some rate of the acceptance of the offer, there are the retention, how long a longer period after you changes these strategy, especially to the transforming into with the technology. So what result it drives?
Yeah, correct. So see, when we are talking specifically about recruitment, right? So it is about, I'll tell you, the notice period is one thing. That is again a challenge, right?
Yeah, of course, of
So
course.
that is always a challenge. So based on the industry, we will be revisiting our policies also where it is required. To be honest with you, we have changed our policy of 90 days notice period to 60 days, considering
Okay.
several industry trends and factor, right? Similarly, when we are talking about any of the metrics that we really need, so again, cost per hire is something that we will look internally from a cost optimization perspective, and that's the
Definitely.
reason we are encouraging a lot of internal mobility that helps us save external hiring costs. And again, when we are talking about the turnover time, right? So maybe an interview discussion altogether takes a week's time for us to,
Mhm.
get clear or take approvals or roll out the offer. Now, the time that an a candidate is expected to join, there also you have a lot of follow-ups doing it. So you
Yeah,
have a
definitely.
team will be working with them closely to ensure that they are going to join and have some kind of role to play there. So those kind of metrics that will help us to analyze to ensure how much time we are spending in one candidate altogether from a process of initiating an interview till onboarding.
All right.
Yeah.
So fantastically that your metrics are, or even those strategies that are very helpful for the organization to where focusing on the skill-based talent you are going to
Right.
be put into your organization, because skill is one of the key. When putting the numbers, that is secondary. But before that, it is must for the HR strategic leaders to focusing on the skill-based either hiring or the skill-based approaches to acquiring the talent for the organization, so that especially the HRBP, the role or the HRBP objective can be fulfilled within the
Yeah.
organization. Now come to the most important part. As I said in the earlier also, AI is playing the most important part into now the recruitment. Like it is a metric, it is now screening of the either the resume and the candidature of the individual. So can you just give some examples of your expertise and your application into your organization, the role of AI and how it
Mhm.
is enhancing the HR practices, and finally helping the HR leader into making the process decisions or the
Yeah.
right decision making process.
Yeah, so see, the way you have also mentioned, AI plays a really important role in HR transformation, especially at TechWave. We use AI-driven tools to streamline talent acquisition, leveraging predictive analytics to identify top candidates and optimize sourcing strategies. Right? AI also plays a significant role in performance management, enabling real-time feedback and personalized developmental plans. Additionally, AI also helps with workforce planning, forecasting skill gap, and aligning our recruitment efforts with future business goals. And AI also drives employee experience, right? See, for example, when we have TechWeb integrated AI-powered chatbots in HR to handle employee frequently asked questions. So that has resulted in reduction of HR query resolution time by 50%, allowing our HR team to focus more on the strategic initiatives that we have. So when actually we talk about AI, when it came into the picture, it was always treated as a threat, right? But now because we are getting equipped to work with AI, so that's the reason I just wanted to mention that AI is not replacing HR. It's
Right.
actually enhancing HR by making decision making smarter and more people centric.
Yeah, rightly. So you rightly said that, and it was also the trends and the discussion and debate point, where even though when we studied some reports, the surveys in 2023, on beginning of the 24, there is these studies says that around 30 to 40% of the jobs are going to impact
Yeah,
by the AI. But
yeah,
really, that was if we say it as an the when we have been later all the reports we just analyze it, at the end we found that this is just a strategy for the AI tool developers, so that they can panicking the market as that they can get the more clients. So that was the one of the marketing strategies
yeah,
which
yeah.
we
So
found
see,
that later on. Yeah.
yeah, I completely agree to that. And another thing is again our mindset, right? Or resistance to change plays an important role. Obviously, if we are not learning or at par with AI, then obviously that scenario may happen. So we have
Yes.
to accept that AI is there to help and make our work productive, and we need to start learning it and putting it in a
Yes.
better way that helps in strategy making and data driven decision making.
Yeah, that is rightly. When we have been to the people businesses, especially the HR is the custodian of the people businesses or the
Yeah.
people services. So in that case, when we had to, because business dynamic is always changing. In last case, the industry had something a separate need. Now in 2020, we had the separate. It is now the 2025. The organization, the business market trend, and the global trend is going to totally shaping that. In that, similarly, the skill when we talking about the human resources, that is basically the skill we are talking about. The skill we do not go for the as a number of the people, how skilled, how educated are they. It does not matter. It is about the right skill at the workplace, what required. That as perspective by the leader strategy or the HR strategy, you have to be thought on that. And similarly, you have to be in that case. The AI is also one of the technology. Everyone had to appreciate that, utilize that, go deep, understand, and that is going to help us. Even though after the COVID, before that there was like this virtual platform hybrid workplaces, it was around only 2 and 3%. It is after COVID and the boom of the AI that is helping every industry. Even there are the industries now who does not have the physical office, and they have the 30 to 40,000 globally the workforce are engaging. So that are
True.
the advantage of the AI, and it never going to replace the human, but we have to take the advantage of the AI,
Absolutely.
artificial intelligence. Now, the most important question when we talking about the AI, it is also shaping, it is changing. Now, there are the now one of the Chinese AI is they released recently, and it is panicking all the previous AI tools and the Chat GPT, etc.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. And it's
yeah,
very cheap as well.
yeah. So maybe now the PM Narendra Modi have also announced maybe next 6 months we are also going to one of the unique type of the AI tool or the tech we are going to also develop and the innovate. So that may be something happening. So throughout the globe it is going to happen, and we are going to look forward the multi level of the AI techniques. However, that is appreciate the helping the HR that improving their function and they drive the right results for the organization. Now my point is here to also confirm with you or ask to you that are the key benefits when we talk about the skill based. We have all discussed about the hiring, but here now you have one point you have been put it here. There are the existing workforce, even though the in hiring that may be 10 to 20% only, and now
Yeah,
the 80% are the existing people. In that
right.
case, there which are especially the very challenging for the that the HR leaders also, how to keep them motivated so that the attrition transition of those people elevating within the organization, the culture change, how that can be shifted. So in that case, what is my point to discuss with you or getting your overview on that? The key benefits of upskilling and reskilling program for both employer and employee, what could be and how it is going to help, and what is your strategies in your organization, because you have been a decade journey has spent with this tech way, and from 100 to 3000 people. So this is
Yeah.
your all the strategies your initiative, because as an the people practices as a people leader into organization, you I consider it is you only to taking care all that. So it is all your thought process, your thinking, and how you are aligning with the mission, vision, and value of your organization, and similarly collaborating with your top leadership.
Absolutely. So when we talk about upskilling and reskilling programs, right? So I'll let you know when I'm going back. When I joined the organization, we never had learning and development as a function because we were just setting up a lot many things, right? So we were taking care of HR, and slowly we have introduced learning and development as a part of the organization growth. And from then on, it's the culture of nurture that we have it in TechWave, right? So I also spoke about our employee value proposition, which is Spark, where if we have to elaborate Spark, then A in Spark stands for A, professional and personal goals. And our all upskilling and reskilling initiatives are crucial for fostering a culture of continuous learning. So that is there. We do have certification programs for our associates internally, which we named as Epic Skill. And the way I was also mentioning, irrespective of the band or the hierarchy that an associate is having. So every associate in the organization have a learning, have a access to learning, whatever technologies they want to, and it is not limited only to upskilling and reskilling. It could be even cross learning, cross functional learning as well, right? So when we specifically talk about the benefits that an employee or an associate is getting from such programs, is definitely, these programs offers opportunities for career growth and advancement and staying relevant in an evolving technical landscape, right? Which is ever changing. So you just need to be ready for anything that comes up, any technology, because that is how we are also talking about the skill resource hiring from that angle. So definitely that those things will have weightage. And if we really need to understand how organization is getting benefited, then because the employees are scaling up, obviously the organization is also getting benefited. For TechWave, we are able to help close skill gaps. We are boosting innovation and enhance project delivery, while also reducing the need for external hires and promoting internal mobility that I was referring it to. So there is a plan that talks about, for each level, what kind of learning and opportunities can be given, and it is not limited only to one region or one band. So it's across the regions. For example, I'll give you an example that talks about, we launched an internal AI and cloud certification program. And if you see within an year, 60% of our trained employees transition into AI driven roles. So that is the power of the learning opportunities which employees are driving to keep them at par with the changing market spectrum as well. And it has actually helped us to reduce the external hiring cost also from that angle by 35%, which is a tremendous percentage if I really have to compare where we were 10 years back and now where we are at present. So I feel learning opportunities is something that employees are also taking care, and everybody is taking seriously also. And from a policy perspective also, HRs and leadership are encouraging employees to have minimum number of hours of learning opportunities so that they can focus on what's new in the market, what do they really need in terms of skills to scale themselves up. So yeah, I personally feel that, an organization that invests in learning doesn't mean they're just retaining employees, but they are actually retaining the relevance of it.
Definitely. So when we talk about reskilling and upskilling, it is the trend, the top trend into maybe going from 2022 till 2032, maybe more than decade. Because now as the AI is there, technology is moving, globalization is also going to be expand. So in that case, the upskilling would also be a challenge, and the reskilling is the challenge for the organization. I'm connecting with that previous point also. And in that case, for example, when we talk about the upskilling, it is about if the new technology is going to adopt, as you said, that you have some internal AI tool has been designed. But when we say that the reskilling and upskilling, so what is your that matrix or score? For example, you have to reach around 100 number of people you have to reskill. But how you are now measuring that they are really you are upskilling or reskilling the 100 number of people with the right skill? So how you ensure it within your organization?
Yeah, so we will have an internal process that talks about the requirement that we have for any of the skill set. The respective HRBPs will be closely collaborating with their respective BU heads, business units heads, and look for what is the need of having a learning and development program, or what is the skill we really need to. Based on that, we will identify people. At times there is only a project specific requirement, or client demand requirement, or there are certain requirements which are there at org level. For example, when we have initiated our full stack training program, so that was designed for freshers, which we were getting it from campus to corporate culture, right? So we ensured that we are providing them the full-fledged training. So down the line, 6 months or an year, we can utilize them in any of the technologies. We are not restricting them to do only Java or only a specific technology. So in
Right.
that way, they are open to learn, and we can also utilize them anywhere based on our requirement. So those
Right.
kind of things are there. When we specifically talk about metrics also, right? So for example, 100 associates have undergone a training program. So there are certain parameters set, and it is not only technology related. So it's a different parameters for each project. And then we get into it, and then we'll come to know, okay, out of these 100, there are 70 folks who have done extremely well, and where we can have opportunities for them. There are 30 folks who are somewhere in moderate, so where they were lacking, and we can revisit those cases. So these kind of programs also encourage to have train the trainer programs. It's not
Right.
somebody externally is coming every time and spending and providing training. So that is how it is. So see, for us it is both the things, right? You are saving the cost, you are upscaling your employees. So
Right.
ultimately productivity comes into the picture.
Definitely. However, when we talk about the scaling, upscaling, that is really to, as there is the one, the Chinese proverb. So grow your bamboos in your field. Similarly, it is helping, and it is through the long journey ahead with the people, businesses, people, services, it going to be happen. So organization, they have to focus on the reskilling and upskilling so that the right talent can be developed within the organization.
Right.
Now, come to the next point. And however, the reskilling and upskilling is always beneficial for both employer and employee. And the employee can get their career path head to where they can stand into next five under the down the line to 5 to 10 years. Organization, they can look forward the metrics that their attrition is down to maybe 50%. The retention of the hire is maybe more than 24 months, and it is going gradually
Right. Yeah.
accordingly.
Probably I
So
actually missed
yes.
about it, but yes, I mean, providing learning and development opportunities help us reduction in attrition for sure, and we have actually seen it over last couple of years within the organization as well.
Rightly. So when we talk about when organization see that every individual they have to put their efforts to help the businesses to grow, even though the goal have to achieve. But at the end, we as in the human being, because we have the many social concern, we have the physical concern. So in that case, now there are the another trend about the wellness program.
Yeah.
There are we talk about the multiple perspective like the mental wellness, then the one into another wellness we talk. But here I'm just that considering especially to the tech wave. So do you have the wellness programs, and how you develop these strategies, and what are the results you have been driven with, and especially what they have been contributed with the overall productivity and job satisfaction of the employee into organize your tech wave organization?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think post-COVID, this has actually, became a subject to talk. Otherwise, it was not much in demand, probably from that angle. Everybody used to
Yeah.
talk about physical well-being of an associate, but we never concentrated much on the mental well-being of the employees,
Yeah.
right?
All right.
So, but at TechWave, we see wellness programs as essential for maintaining healthy and engaged workforce. And the way I was also mentioning about Spark, which is our EVP, right? So P stands for provide holistic care, which covers the mental and physical well-being of our associates, and work-life balance, flexible work arrangements, hybrid work transition. So these kind of benefits or the wellness programs that we provide, which is not limited to, I mean, if we really need to talk, we will be having our yoga session going on in our office premises. twice in a week. We will have dance therapy sessions going on. We talk a lot about mindfulness sessions, ergonomic sessions, which is taking care from a well-being perspective. And apart from this, also we have counseling therapy sessions extended to our associates in case they would like to reach out to anybody, and they can directly talk to them and explain if what they are going through and all. So I think a strong wellness culture directly impacts job satisfaction and help reduce turnover. And I think when we have done an internal survey also, right, for us, for HR, especially the clients are the associates, right? So when we do Pearl survey or any other survey within the organization, the net promoter score of our employees from a wellness standpoint comes around 8.5 out of 10, so which we consider a really good feedback, and they'll be open to give the feedback, because see, now we are dealing with multiple generation of associates, so one idea may not suit or click everybody. So we have
Definitely.
different, yeah, so we have different sessions, different kind of wellness programs designed considering the need of our associate. And it has actually helped us in lot many ways. It has led to reduced absenteeism, increased productivity, and higher the morale. So we completely believe that if we are caring for our employees' well-being, that isn't it an expense? It is an investment that we are doing in our long-term success. So
Right.
apart from this, we will be giving them the annual health checkup. We have tie-up with all other hospitals which are required. Insurance is obviously one part of the well-being which is taken care. I'm not saying only TechWave is doing it, but yes, where employer is taking care of insurance in terms of group accidental insurance or life insurance policies. Medical insurance anyways will be there. So different kind of well-being program clubbed together will definitely enhance productivity, because in that case employees are not worried much about any other thing, right? They know their employer is going to take care of it. And uh, and that is the metrics driven score that I have mentioned it to you, because every December we will be having our annual meeting reviews, right? So we will have those feedback constantly for the leadership team to determine where are we this year, and based on this, we will set our KPI KRA for the next year. Considering HR
Right.
is more of human centric, right, function. So yeah,
Okay. One point here within that you have mentioned the multiple programs for the
yeah,
well-being, especially within organization. Now come to, for example, you have the 3,000 people. You target
right.
that everyone can be part of this program, at least one and two. So at the end, what actual result you have been got so far with this initiative? So it is in term of like the present and the present, and what I can say, the percentile. It can be the number. For example, you have the 3,000 workforces. You want to all that would be moved within this program. Around one program should be attended by each, if there are the multiple programs. So what is the turnaround total? Because it is rightly for when we talk this point. So even though our the viewer, our reader, they will get the right practical implementable idea what they can implement, and especially to when we talk about the especially to helping the HR, it is basically on the data driven as well as the matrix, because the
Correct.
matrix is going to always count. Theory we
Right.
can talk a lot on, but when we
Yes.
specify to the matrix what you have been done, this is the result. So that is really creating the impact. So that's why this platform we have been created to get an impactful learning to the HR professional.
Correct, right. So, see, when we are talking across the regions, considering the different time zone, different thing, right? So, every regional HR has a role to play there, right? But for example, the way I was talking about yoga session, right? That is a program that we are doing across the globe. In India, we specifically do it in person because it is in our capacity. For rest of the regions, we are doing it through Teams.
Okay.
Yeah, so but the person would be coming here, he'll be doing the yoga session here, and then it gets distributed. So majority of our employees, I would say, considering the different time zone region also, we will have 80% of our employees following the yoga session. And that is how, yeah, so that is one segment of it. There is a small segment that is, more of freshers and interested in dance therapy kind of sessions. So yeah, so we have designed different sessions considering our different crowd. But
Definitely.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, so the way I was mentioning, right, if I really need to see the NPS from that angle, then it is close to 85%, where
Mhm.
employees have provided that they are happy with the organization, and they are encouraged by employers to provide all the mental well-being and physical well-being session. Gym tie-up is another point of discussion if we if we start about it and talk about it. And then wellness session here is not only limited to an associate, we have extended it to the family members also.
Right. Great.
Yeah.
So it is fantastic that even though that 85%, that is
Yes.
the great achievement, which I say, as I've been discussing with 50 plus CHROs in these well-being programs. So maximum on average, it come around 70% of the achievement. But you are saying it is 85%. That is a good numbers. And it is
Correct.
maybe as your strategies you have been implement within
Yeah.
organization.
So
So when
it
now,
again depends upon the different programs, right?
all right. So here now we are talking about the as the data. Data always play the crucial role into how we make the decisions. Then
Yeah.
when we talk about the data, so basically when the data is there, it is coming through the HRBP role or come into the existence. So now the point is, however, data is like you have the program for the wellness. There may be the 50 to 20 number of the program you have. So different number are going to be part of that. So they always have the data. But now come to the point, you have the multiple type of data, even though day to day move out of the people, and then your work and your meetings and everything, whatever you are doing as per your care. There are the multiple data, variety of data. But now my point is here the discussion of that when we talk about the making right decision, right strategies for the organization, how the people analytics that are utilized and that is really helping the HR professional to shaping the future HR strategy of the HR leader or the HR department as the data based.
Yeah, yeah. So absolutely, the way you have mentioned, data is important, and people analytics in driving is driving data-driven decision making for us, right? So we have again different segments if we really need to deep dive into it. So by analyzing patterns in employee performance, retention, and engagement, we can design more effective HR strategies. See, for example, when we are specifically talking about performance management, right? So HR is a person who is solely responsible for it, takes the ownership of it. So along with the respective BU heads, HR will track the skill gaps. We will work on the promotion readiness, and then we will have individual growth trajectories also, because the career growth for associates are very important and plays an important role. Similarly, when we are talking about retention or engagement, then AI obviously helps us in analyzing in employee feedback surveys, and it helps us in predicting the attrition risk. So, based on the sentiment that AI could take from an associate while filling the survey, that also acts as a segment and help HR or provide guidelines to HR how we really need to work on it. It could be, where proactive retention comes into the picture, and then we work with the business and the leadership team together on that. Another thing could be the workforce planning, where HR can forecast that, this is what is going to be the hiring needs in the coming few quarters. And then the future leadership type pipeline is also an important, whether we really need somebody on a leadership role, because you will not get people that easily if at all we are working on that, right? So I think these things are important, where people analytics is really helping, giving us information in advance and asking HR to work on it. So it is something that data is not just telling you what has happened. It also helps you to shape up with what is going to happen or what's going to come next for you. So you can be prepared accordingly. For example, maybe tracking the cost of hire and efficiency metrics. So that has been instrumental in refining our recruitment process and aligning them with the business goals as part of our talent roadmap, right? Similarly, when we talk about attrition prediction model that we have, so that the way I was mentioning, right, proactive retention can increase. So if there are employees, in fact, we could retain 15% at-risk employees by providing targeted engagement programs. So at times there is a need for them to learn any other skill set or opportunity to go to any other region considering the project and all. So considering all of those things, I think this tool is really helping us where we can take decisions and at least we can gather inputs in advance and put it in a forum that this can happen down the line 3 months. So are we really ready for it? Are we future ready to take this decision now in order to have the impact on the cost revenue or from a billing utilization perspective as well, right?
Greatly. So when we talk about the people analytics, so there is another move now. Technology is going to help. There are these studies which we studies in 23, 24. So those studies has been says that around 80% of the top leader, they have been
Yeah.
accepted. They have been utilized the AI for their the HR functions. So as now the question come to, even though we discuss here the point of data analytics. So have you are you using the AI for the analytics purpose, and what challenges you have been facing, and after that how you have been overcome from these challenges?
Yeah, I think that's an important thing that we are doing it now also. So, see, first of all, when we are implementing AI in HR as a function, right, it's all about the mindset. Maybe people are not, because it's a shift that is happening. So we are not sure people are ready or not ready from that angle, but yes, AI will have its own challenges when we are doing it. And in fact, in TechWave also, we have navigated issues like privacy concerns and then the potential bias that we may have and resistance to change. So the way I was mentioning, right, in fact, within the HR team also, we will see those kind of a step back where people are ready to move and take up the automation kind of a thing, because we are also used to be in one set of performance, right? So yeah, those things makes a lot of difference. And I think the important thing here is when we started doing it in TechWave, right? So there was a question about whether it could be biased also based on the information that we are putting it into it, right? So for that, we really need to we have actually focused on collaborating with the HR team internally and encouraging them to have a lot of trainings where we can do that, providing a lot of training that HR can handle in terms of bias and they understand the difference of it. So I think those things played an important role. And obviously, when we're talking about technology, because it's new, so we have always believed in fostering a culture that embraces technology through thoughtful change management, because everything may not come at once, right? It takes time for people also to get adjusted. We are already in the comfort zone, and something new comes up. So there is always that resistance to do it.
Rightly.
Yeah.
So as we just discussed about the AI is the technology of the future, and always it is helping the I can say it is the HR operational task, and giving the more time to HR function to thought on the strategies perspective, and more centric to moving ahead with the business perspective, helping the business to grow. Earlier I had been asked one question to the upskilling and reskilling benefit for employer and employee. Now
Correct.
another question come in my mind. So as you have been implemented for multiple the ideas, the initiative action you have been taken, you have been shared that with me. So now one another point is here, when you have been implemented those program and these initiative, that how you align that with the industry need and with effective, or means driving the right result, what in your strategies you have been defined, and how you get those real kind of results from the reskilling and upskilling programs.
Yeah, I think that is very important. So, the way I have mentioned, it's like to keep our upskilling and reskilling programs relevant, we regularly conduct skill gap analysis. That is an important factor of it. And then we continues to take our client feedback and incorporate it, and obviously monitor the industry trends. See, for example, programs like Golang training, hybrid training, any kind of technical tech boot camps, webinars, or any of the enablement programs are tailored to meet the current project demands. And we also
Right.
use feedback loops and performance assessment to ensure that these initiative remains effective and are aligned with business goals, because that is very important for us. So maybe I'll give you another example that talks about, we have, as a part of our upskilling and reskilling program, we have TechWave's AI Academy. So that was co-created with industry leaders, where we have trained close to 250 plus employees, and that has increased our internal mobility by 30%. So instead hiring people from outside, we could manage to do an internal mobility within the BU or cross BU functions and utilize the skill set of the resources. So for us, it is very clear that a training program without business alignment is just like a compass without a map. So we really need to have that alignment where business strategy comes into the picture, and everybody is having a visibility and clarity of what is going to be next for us.
Great, fantastic. Here, I'm interrupting to you. So this meeting is showing the maybe 60 minutes of time. So if the meeting would be ended or interrupted, then please connect back. So now I'm going to the next question. So here we have been discussed most about the AI tool utilization, then again the reskilling and upskilling. Now come to the most important part, measuring of the strategy's success. So
Mhm.
especially now earlier 1 and 2 point I have been asked to be particularly talking about the metrics and the ratio of your target and then achieving where you have been set for the well-being programs where you achieve some program for 85% of engagement of
Yeah.
your employees. So in that case, now going more deep into the matrix, because that when we talk about the analytics, so metrics play a crucial role for the making firm decisions for your strategies. Even though you have to revisit to the strategies, you have to realign them with the organization mission, vision, and values. In that case, that what metrics the TechWave, or especially your strategy as the HR leader, that you are using to track the success of the employee wellness program. However, 1 and 2 you have already given, but I'm here looking for some specific answer so that our reader can get the real kind of actionable idea to implement from your experience, from your leadership you have been deploying to your the TechWave.
Okay. So see, because when we are specifically talking about metrics that is aligned with our wellness programs, so we track metrics like employee engagement scores, absenteeism rates, productivity, and turnover to gauge the effectiveness of our wellness programs, right? Because participation rates in wellness activities, feedback from the pulse surveys also provide valuable insight into what's going on and what needs improvement. So as a quarterly activity, we will be having a feedback form to the, like, we'll be having a questionnaire or a survey on different topics that we will be sending it to our employees, and then based on, and we will collate all those feedback and then come and talk about any of the wellness programs that we may need it at the later. But from a metrics perspective, this is mainly your, like if your employee engagement scores are high, your absenteeism is reduced, or your absenteeism rates are less, and your productivity is increased, right? So those things matters a lot for us from that angle, and we believe that if we have engaged employees, then they would prefer staying with us also for a longer run. So wellness from a benefit perspective, for us, wellness, it's not just about offering benefits that we are doing it as an organization, but it is also about measuring the impact, right? So
Right.
so there are certain programs which are designed, and for example, if any associate was probably going through a tough phase and needed somebody to talk to, and because of which the productivity was getting hampered, and we came to know about it, we spoke, we have arranged sessions, we have provided the kind of flexibility that the associate was looking for, right? So everything clubbed together down the line will increase the efficiency and productivity of the resource also. So when we talk about it, whether it's engagement, retention, and productivity, they are considered as the real return on investment for us on employee well-being.
Rightly. So fantastic metrics you are utilizing for getting the real sense of the HR function in your organization. So when we say that the initiative we have been done, the employee satisfaction, so
Yeah.
it is at the end the what impact your strategy has been made. Either it is impacting the development of individual employee, or secondly, it is about the organizational goal. When these two going parallel, so that means really the HR function has been play a crucial role, as well as that if it is a impact to the individual employee development, that is really the people centric approaches has been deployed that are successfully that implemented or driving the result within the organization. So fantastically we have been discussed certain points so far into the most important trends which are going to happen in 2025 and beyond. So now come to the most important part. So last 1 and 2 points are there for the discussion. When we talking about the people analytics, we have been already get it through. There are some portion, but here I'm going for the more specific to the through people analytics. So what are the predictive the what measure you make to especially the workforce trend prediction in your organization? What types of the metrics or the people analytics you are using for the predicting and addressing the workforce trend? Either it is for the new hiring, either it is the learning and development. So what 1 and 2 specifically you just mentioned, so that we can get a right insight for our reader, as well as the who will going to be watch this discussion, so that they can get the specific about the implementation of the right approaches to any strategy at the top level they have to implement for their organization.
So the way I have mentioned earlier also, that people analytics is obviously driving us to take data-driven decision making. That is there, and I personally feel that HR should not be reactive, rather, because data allows us to lead from the front. So when we use people analytics at TechWave to forecast attrition risk, identify leadership potential, or anticipate any future skill needs, right? Yeah, the way I was mentioning, right? People analytics, we are using at TechWave to forecast attrition risk, identifying leadership potential, and anticipate our future skill needs, talent management. So, how are we identifying this skill gap? And then couple of
Rightly.
times, yeah, a couple of times, but specifically from an analytics perspective, we are working on those things, which talks about retention or attrition, right? So AI definitely help us in order to identify that, these are the employees where you can focus on, and then we initiate one-on connect with them to understand how it is going on, and if there is anything that is there in their mind, and we clarify that, or we take different measures. Few may need engagement, few may need promotions, few may need a different kind of maybe they would like to go or move to the other region considering the client requirements. So that is one part of it, and then the other part could be the diversity and inclusion that we are doing it. The way I spoke about, biasness, that could be there. So how we can identify the biasness in the promotions and in hiring, and how we are going to go back to that to the leadership team and talk about it, and streamline that process of the entire process of performance, where promotions are being tagged or hiring is being tagged too. So I think it is more from that angle. So by analyzing the data from performance reviews or engagement surveys or the hiring needs or the hiring trends we have, we can proactively address those talent gaps. So identification of need is something which is important. And then the next step comes in that, how are we going to scale up or streamline, or is this gap really there, or it is just pretending to be there? So there are a lot of different things, different kind of metrics that we will be utilizing it. And Yeah, I think those are the specific things that I have at this moment.
When the organization, especially the workforce, is the one of the key for business operation. So that's why
Yeah,
it is also important for the businesses to know the trends, what the skills required, what are the workforce, and how age it is going. There are the multiple trends or analysis before it is how age it is going to your organization. As you are since decade within your organization, so you have seen the trajectory of the ages. When the organization was started, the maximum number of the workforce was within around under the 30 year of age. Now
right.
within the 10 year, it is going to be moved with that workforce moving with the 40 year of average age. So that is the span which had to be measured by the organization, especially to the domain of HR or the HR services, where your matrix and secondly the analytics of the people, either it is the age factor, it is the skill factor,
Yeah,
the technology, whatever is there, so that where the what skills are required, the workforce trend, how it is moving within the surrounding of all your either it is tech industry or what is the domain of industry or specifically within your organization itself. So the people analytics are always helping, but it is rightly that HR leaders strategies, how you are utilizing them for addressing or predicting the future trend of the workforce, where it is moving, what required. We talk about the reskilling and upskilling also. That
yeah,
is also one of the key metrics which can be utilized for the workforce trend prediction and addressing the workforce issues within the organization. As you said, there are the absenteeism, there are the attrition, there are the job satisfaction would be there, so that how the trajectory of the lifespan of one individual as a talent within your organization, how that is really becoming and the right talent for the organization, which we say as in the talent pipelining, succession planning coming to the picture at the end as in
right.
the impact of these trends or the strategies you are using. So now
Yeah,
come
yeah.
to the last point.
I
So
think you have actually talked about a very interesting point, which is succession planning. And
right.
we also, as an organization, is working on it. So that is something which really helps internal employees and encourage them also to take up the next level. And for organization also, it helps us to ensure, okay, where we really need to invest, whether it is in terms of external hiring or it is in terms of internal mobility and internal scaling up of our associates. So yeah, very valid point.
So when we talk about the workforce trend, so it does not mean we just see into the outside market. It is in inside also. So in the
Correct.
beginning, you also said that the internal mobility is also there. So when
Right.
we looking about the pipelining of our workforces, so rather than moving, kicking out the people or moving them out from the organization, why not move them within the organization? That is also one type of the right strategies. Then earlier, one of the Japanese organization we were using this strategy there, and secondly, it is helping the organization to retain more people, developing them according to the organizational need, and further to also giving them opportunity to improving themselves. So that is also the key things
Yeah,
where
that's
the
yeah,
HR leader had to
correct.
that focus on these, and these are the right strategies, also helping them to align the departmental the vision within the organization mission, vision, and values. So at the last point, which here I want to discuss and get your overview and insights on these, especially to the HR practices.
Mm-hmm.
However, there are we talk about the work life, where we talk about the whole lifespan of an individual within the organization. It is started from the day one, either it is started from when you are attracting, or when first we discussed about the skill based hiring. So it is started from the hiring until retiring. Either someone is leaving the organization within 6 months, or we focus on the average age of the lifespan individual spend within. For example, it is around 38 years if someone started as in the organization with the 21 years and then retire at the 58 years. So it is
Right.
around 38 years coming to the picture, and one employee. There are the multiple trajectory he, she see in the organization that is changing their whole life. either it is their professional as well as the personal life too. So however, you have been a decade within the tech wave now, so it is you have been seeing these scenarios within your organization. Now come to the at the end point. When we talk about, we many things we discussed about the future trends, HR trends, and then the most important which is seen and which is most crucial for the HR leader, that is about the aligning these all trends with their organizational current need as and the practices they have to implement. Strategy building, thinking, and aligning with the management part, that is the one of the function for the leader. But where the difficulty which I must say, or I just have been seen, so that is the implementation part. So strategy development is one of the way the stakeholder and collaborating with the top level of the people leadership, an idea you can generate. But most important, when implement the bottom line, we have to connect with that. So in that case, the real success of our HR practices, that can be foreseen, or that can be really we can measure them, and what is the right result that can be given, or that can be provided. So now my question is for you that what are the future trends where we see about the HR practices, and then how the companies can prepare themselves for these the trends, like the new HR practices you have to initiate within your organization.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, looking ahead, we anticipate greater integration of AI in HR processes, that is for sure. And how effectively and wherein all we can use AI in HR processes, that that is really important. And in future, maybe like an increased focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the way we spoke, right, continued rise of remote and hybrid working models. So these trends will definitely continue in HR practices, and we are preparing also for these trends by investing a lot in technologies, and then
Right.
promoting continuous learning, developing workplaces which are flexible in natures to support a diverse global forces. Because what when in fact I was talking with a few of the HR fraternity, right? So this topic has come up in a way, where adaptability will be the most valuable skill in the HR toolkit for tomorrow. So we really have to figure it out, because HR, when we talk about it, is not only about policies, it's about people for us. And people are evolving faster than anything, right? So those best practices are really important for us, and we really need to work on it. But yes, I mean, these things are going to continue for a longer time. So in fact, the hybrid work model, majority of the organization have given a free hand, but now organizations are enforcing, or kind of asking employees to come back to work all 5 days, which is actually reluctant by many of the associates or working in majority of the organization. So those challenges will still continue. It is on us, depends upon the HR, how strong the HR policies or the people-driven organization you are, when to provide the flexibility, when you really need to take care of them. So from that angle, I see majority of these things that comes in, and employee work-life balance again plays an important role. So if that segment is being taken care, then I feel majority of the things would automatically fall in place.
Great, fantastically. So at the end point, here is one out-of-box question, which at the end I ask to all the leaders who I have been I have been interviewed so far. So that is most important, because when we the now it is the we can say as the impactful market for the talent. So before that, we have been discussed about the skill-based hiring, how the organization they are moving forward with the new trends, and they looking for the future to getting the right talent for the organization. Then we talk about the AI utilization into the recruitment and the learning and development. Even though there's the reskilling and upskilling, we have been talked a lot about. The most important come to that the when as in the HR, we are the custodian of human resources, the talent at the end, skill and talent. So this is the out of box question. And what is the USP of the tech wave to attract the right people to your organization? As I said, that HR function of the tech wave, and what is your USP to attract the right talent? And those talent can really be an asset for the organization, not just the resources. It is the asset.
Okay, so there are two views of it. One is external when we are going in market and pitching and hiring it. The other one is internal references,
Okay.
right? So in TechWave, we actually encourage our associate because reference has been given as a preference. And we believe because it is coming from an internal associate, it will be of, almost the same quality of people that we are doing. And it is quite easy for us to understand and for them also to get into the cultural fitment of the organization. So that is one aspect of it. But when we are talking from an employer brand perspective, then yes, we will be talking about the culture, the values of the organization, and the target needs to be very specific. First of all, we really need to streamline our internal process to understand what the actual requirement is, and then the focus areas will automatically start working on it, right? So it's the clear understanding of the job description. It's a clear understanding of the roles and responsibilities that somebody is coming into it. So I think those kind of things will be really impactful. And then a lot of connects are required. So what one initiative we have done even in TechWave is once we are done with the interview discussion and all, and then we have rolled out the offer, we give a date of joining, right? So the in-between time frame that we have asked our leaders to initiate a conversation with the associates and start involving and talking to them so that they feel importance and they feel part of it automatically before joining TechWave. So that is another aspect of it. But if I am deviating from your question, then you can please stop and I'll try to answer that as well.
Rightly, great. So here, thank you, Sakshi Pal, giving your time for the People Manager platform and discussing the lot about the trends. So here I am ending this discussion with the one most important, which I ask the out of box question, that is the USP. So TechWave HR USP is to network is the net worth for the HR people, even though networking through the surrounding professional or networking within your people, that is an impactful hiring USP, really working for your organization and maximum into the tech organization. I have also worked with some campaigns and as well as the TCS. They are also using these strategy and impactfully. The networking is helping impactfully either to financial side also and the stability of the people when you are engaging the people through the network of your existing employee. So it would be also easy for the HR people to getting them evolved within the organizational culture, because who are referring them, so they have already been discussed that what is the organization
Correct.
interest. The network people, they have been already get through their known or their network and who they are going to the network. So that is the fantastic that the strategies you have been implemented into the tech wave. And I also appreciate, also congratulate you have been there the 10 years you have been spent, and similarly helping the growth of tech wave in these 10 years to reaching from 100 employee to the 3000 employee globally. And that is also the one of the appreciation and the appreciating part of that your journey, your strategies you have been implemented. So and